I'm not sure where I'm going to insert this clip, but at the start of this video I was very, very upset because I was stressed about my driving. I'd started with a new therapist and things were all a little bit much. So yeah, I just want you to proceed with caution when you watch this video. I will put timestamps down below if you don't want to see all the really emotional stuff, because I know it's a lot, but I just want this video to be proof that things do get better. And I do still struggle with my mental health. Like even yesterday I was really, really upset after a therapy session. But I'm hopefully getting there now. Now I've passed my driving test. Things are definitely feeling less stressful. But yeah, please like and subscribe if you like this video, and yes, let's get into it. So, as we can tell, it is, I think it's the 28th of January today. Started with a new therapist, and I'm just finding life a bit tough at the moment. Oh God. But I wanted to film this, like, just in the hope that things get better. My driving test is in about 2-3 weeks' time. And the anxiety's been, like, so intense recently. Oh my God, right, okay. So basically I started with a new therapist today, and like we just spoke about everything that's like bubbling over, and like I went through everything that I've been through in the past, and yeah, there's a lot of things that's like come back to the surface now. And it's just like really shit. It's like my birthday in like 2 weeks' time, and I just feel like absolute crap, and I just feel like my mental health always gets shit around my birthday. Like, I know I can't get the side of this, but it's just really fucking hard right now. I feel a bit like stuck in this. I've just felt not great for the past like 2-3 months. Some days better than others. Like yesterday, no crying. Like I had a really nice evening with my boyfriend. But days like today, I just woke up like I knew I was dreading therapy, because I knew it'd be going back over all the like shit in the past. But yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. I do hope I pass my driving test, but realistically I know like not everyone passes first time, and driving has always been a massive source of anxiety, so the fact I'm even like doing a test is a miracle in itself. I'm literally just trying to go to the mindset it's like a mock test, and it's okay if I don't pass. But yeah, I just need time to heal and get over whatever the hell this is. Yeah, so hopefully things get easier. I'll find a way out of this somehow. But yeah, I just feel a bit all over the place. Yeah. Hello, please excuse all the dogs barking in the background. I'm not sure what's going on there. But it is about a week later after the last clip. I've had another therapy session since then. I've had some rocky days. Like as I said, I feel like Saturday's just the day where I cry. Like, I was just talking about everything to my therapist. I think I hold a lot of it in during the week because I've got work to do. I've got to practice my driving, and you can't really cry when you're driving a car. So yeah, Saturday's just the day I cry. But it is actually my birthday tomorrow. So I'm actually filming 2 videos at the same time. A little bit confusing for me, but I feel so much better mentally today. I saw my grandparents yesterday, and my boyfriend met me for the first time, which went really well. But I just felt so on edge all day. You know, I've got like a horrible tight chest. I just had that all day. It was horrible. But I feel so much better this morning, and it's about 3 o'clock now. And I think because I've had the whole day to myself, I just feel a lot more calm and zen, and my mind's just not racing. So yeah, that's good. So tomorrow, I don't know if I'll film it on here. I'll probably film an Instagram reel about what I get up to on my birthday. I've done one every year for the past like 2-3 years. So yeah, tomorrow me and my mum are going to Petworth House, which is not very far from us. We always go to Petworth Park with the dog, but we've never actually been inside the like National Trust house, so that'll be nice. And then probably go for a pub lunch after, and then my boyfriend is coming around in the evening. after he finishes work, so we can do presents and stuff, so that'll be really, really nice. And yeah, so it's quite a chill birthday, to be honest. I mean, I'm turning 24, it's not a huge birthday or anything, but I'd much rather that anyway. And then I'm seeing my friends at the weekend. We're going to mini golf in London, and then food after that, obviously. And then what am I doing? Then my driving test on the 13th of February. So it's a week away, but I'm not as nervous about it as I was like this time a week ago. So I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, to my therapist gave me some really helpful tips. She said, like, when you're doing a mock test or the actual test, she said, just literally break it down to such small chunks. Like, don't think about the whole test as a whole. Just like think about, right, come up to a roundabout. I know how to deal with the roundabout. I can get through this. And like anything you do really well, just like reinforce in your head that you know how to do it. And then if you do make a mistake, just be like, okay, I can learn from this, or it's not the end of the world that I made this little mistake. And yeah, hopefully that'll make the driving test a bit more manageable. Yeah, so not long to go now. But as I said, I'm just going to treat the first one like a mock test anyway, not put too much pressure on myself. What is meant to be will find a way. I always say that to myself anyway. I've got like 1 more hour left of work, or my apprenticeship day. And yeah, we'll see what 24 brings. Hello, so I can now confirm I've passed my driving test. Oh my God. I never thought I would see the day. When I first started learning when I was 17, I just wasn't getting it. I found it really anxiety inducing, and I just thought, I'm just not going to be a driver. And today, on the 13th of February 2023, I have passed my driving test. First time with 4 minors. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. So I think I'm just going to go through a quick overview of my driving journey. For anyone who wants a bit of background as to why I've done it a bit later on. A lot of people when they're in the UK do it about 17, 18. I'm 24 now. So let's just go from the beginning. So when I was 17, I got a few driving lessons for my birthday. As I said, I wanted to learn to drive. I wanted that independence. Everyone at college had their own little cars and was learning. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. But I really suffered with anxiety back then. I still suffer with anxiety now, but it is more manageable now. I have better coping mechanisms, but back then I didn't really. There was a lot going on in my personal life. A-levels, it just didn't really happen for me back then. I was with one instructor for about a year, but it just wasn't really progressing. I could drive okay in her car, but when it came to driving in my mum's car at the time, I just didn't get the gear changes, and it just didn't click in my head. And then mum said, why don't you try with an automatic instructor? Now, bear in mind, this was about 5-6 years ago, so automatic driving was not very well known, especially in the UK. I know in America, most people drive automatic, but in the UK, it's definitely not the case, especially like 5-6 years ago. Like, I didn't know anyone that drove automatic back then. But I did have a lesson with an automatic instructor, which I did enjoy a lot more. It's important to note as well, I did do a driving theory test when I was 17 and passed that first time. And I did actually book a practical test as well for the March of 2017 it would have been, but I cancelled it because I got way too anxious and thought I don't feel confident enough to drive it, and I'm glad I didn't take that test. So yes, I did book a test previously, but yeah, when it came to it I was like, nope, I can't do it. And then so I had one lesson with an automatic instructor, which I did prefer, but it was like the end of March, sort of A-levels were looming. I was going to university the following September. I was like, I don't actually need to drive at this point in my life. So yeah, I just didn't do any lessons then. So that was, as I said, March 2017. And from then until September 2021, I didn't set foot in a car again. As I said, I was at university, the pandemic hit. Yeah, I just didn't have the need or real want to drive. Where I went to university was really, like, the public transport was amazing, like the bus service was really good. And then when I was home, I was very lucky that I have friends who drive back home. My mum's happy to drive me places. And I was never really home for that long a period of time to need a car either. So yeah, during the ages of about sort of 18, 19 to about 20, 21, I didn't really need a car. So yeah, then I did an extra year of university. That's like a whole nother story. But I finished university in like June 2021, and at that point obviously the world was getting back to normal again. I still couldn't drive. Most of my friends had passed their tests at this point. And yeah, sort of where I live as well, like back in my hometown, the buses aren't as great. I have good like train links, so obviously trains don't get you everywhere. and all my friends are dotted around. So yeah, when I finished university, I was like, look, my degree is done, maybe I can focus on driving now. And I was also working part-time as well, so I had more time to do it. So I looked into automatic driving lessons because I said I never really got on with manual. I know a lot of people are like, oh, if you do manual, you can drive both cars and you can drive abroad a bit more easily. But I was like, for me, I never got on with manual driving. So, so about September 2021, after my graduation actually, I was like, right, let's find a driving instructor. So I Googled like automatic driving instructors in my area. I had one lady. So going back to the 6 driving instructor stories, I had one woman manual instructor for about a year, but just didn't get very much from it. I did try another lady who was just horrible, so that was one lesson, never saw her again. And then the third guy was an actual automatic instructor, but as I said, because of A-levels I didn't proceed with him. So when it came to September 2021, I had a lesson with a lady automatic instructor. I'm not going to name names apart from actually who I passed with, but I won't name the other companies, just don't want to cause any issues. But yeah, so I had one lesson with a lady and I told her my full story. I was like, look, I haven't driven in 4 years, I'm quite nervous, like just want to see if this is something I want to do. So we drove to a village I know really well, that was all fine. But then she took me down a very tight road with cars parked either side. There was cars like reversing out of driveways. Now, bearing in mind I'm a naturally anxious person anyway, and I hadn't driven in years, I just found the whole process really overwhelming. I said, I need to pull over. I started crying. I like almost had a panic attack. I was like, no. And she said, but you're doing so well, why are you panicking? I was like, I haven't driven in 4 years. Why have you taken me down such an overwhelming road? And then I realised at that point, she is not the instructor for me. If she's going to throw me in at the deep end like that, it ain't going to work. So I then found a driving school. So she was like an independent company. It was an independent company, and then I found a male automatic instructor, and I was with him for about 6 to 8 months, I want to say. So yeah, from about September, October 2021 until about May 2022, I was with him. But there was about 2 months in the period I was with him where he wasn't around for driving lessons. He was unwell, unfortunately. So my driving has been so like choppy, like there's been breaks like from my instructors and from me. I remember around sort of Christmas time on my birthday, my driving instructor wasn't really around because he had health issues, which is like, it happens to everyone. But obviously not great when you're trying to like learn a new skill, you need to keep doing it regularly. Then sort of February, March came around. I actually booked a test for June 2022 because things were going well with my new male instructor. I was learning stuff, I felt more confident in an automatic car. And where I live, like I did my test in Guildford. The Guildford test waiting times is 6 months. So yeah, in the January of 2022, I booked a test for June 22. I thought, yep, I'll be ready by then. So as I said, we were getting closer to the test date. I also bought my own car in March. No, I bought my car in April 2022. Mainly because my other instructor was not very consistent. I was like, if I've got my own car, I can practice more, I can drive to work, which got me used to have my own car. And I'm so glad I bought my own car, bought it with my own money. So I feel really like proud of it. Really, really helped with my confidence and everything. But yeah, it was getting close. As I said, it was getting to like May, and I just still wasn't very confident with driving. Like I knew what to do, but I just wasn't filled with confidence. All I can describe it as. And unfortunately in May, my granddad went into hospital. So obviously I was stressed out with that. May was just not a good time, and whenever I was in lessons with my old instructor, he would just be like, you'd fail if you do that on the test, but he would never tell me like how to improve it or like how to not fail. And I could just feel my confidence getting worse and worse, and it just reached to one point with my mum. I was coming home from lessons crying like, oh my god, my test is in a month and I don't feel ready. And mum was like, look, I think you need to cancel your test and have a break from lessons. Like obviously this is not really working for you again. So I cancelled my lessons in May, cancelled my driving test again for the June. I was like, look, let's just take an actual break from this. I could still go out on my own car with no pressure. So yeah, that was May. And then sort of the end of summer, because I was really conscious as well, I did do my driving theory again, obviously because 4 years had passed. I did my theory in the November of 2021. So obviously it was coming up to a year since I'd done my last theory test. Like I need to get another test. Like I don't want to have to do my theory for like a third time. So yeah, sort of towards the end of summer, after I'd been on holidays and stuff, I was like, right, let's just find another instructor. So I think end of July I found my current instructor. So July 2022 I found my instructor I'm with, or was with now, and who I passed with. So yeah, my instructor, he does come from a driving school. He comes from IGO. I'll link them down below. I know they're sort of based around the country. Yeah, I was just on Facebook groups, I was Googling, but as I said, because there's such a backlog of tests and driving instructors due to COVID, I was really struggling to find another sort of instructor. I eventually found, actually, someone who follows me on Instagram who I went to school with, she said, oh, this guy is free in the Guildford area, like, do you want his details? Like, yes please, I need an instructor, like, ASAP. So yeah, I started lessons with him, I want to say, was it September? With my current instructor, or my old instructor. He says it's my 6th driving instructor, right? And obviously my confidence was very low. I hadn't been with an instructor for a few months. I was just doing real my comfort zone lessons in my car. Explained everything to him and he was so patient with me. I said the first couple of lessons I did cry after them. I found them quite overwhelming because he had to sort of slam the brakes on a few times. And yeah, so the first couple of months I did find hard, I won't lie. But as I said, he was a very patient driving instructor and he did actually explain things. He would let me like pull over so I could actually understand it. He gave me different reference points for parking. As I said, just all these things I never really learnt with other instructors. Yeah, so then again, when did I book this test? I think it was around August, September 2022. I booked my driving test, which I had today because there's like a 6-month waiting list. So I was honestly getting up at like 5 AM in the morning to book my driving test because I said that's how quickly they would go. But it worked. I did find a driving test. I took my driving test at 10:14 in the morning in February, 13th of February. I'll always remember that date now. So yeah, I booked that. As I said, I booked it about 6 months ago. And yeah, ever since then, I was doing lessons every fortnight just because they were quite expensive. I did pay £82 per lesson for a 2-hour lesson, which I know is a lot of money. But it worked quite well because he was only based in Guildford. He could pick me up from work and we would do like 2 solid hours in Guildford rather than, I live about half an hour outside of Guildford. So with my old instructor, like half the lesson we'd just be driving back and forth. But as I said, even my mum said, you know, there's such a difference with me, with my instructor now, because I was actually learning stuff. But I also I might do a separate video on like tips and tricks on how to pass your driving test that first time. But yeah, some of the things that really helped me, there was a few YouTube channels, so Clearview Driving, D&G Driving and Driving School UK, really good videos for like mock tests or how to deal with roundabout slip roads. Like, so yeah, if there's ever a period where I wasn't in a lesson because it had been cancelled, I'd always watch one of those and I think it really helped me pass my test. So yeah, and as I said, today was my test day, so I'm going to talk you through that. As I said, my test was at 10:14 and most of the time you'll do like an hour lesson with your instructor beforehand to go over anything you're unsure of. Did have a bit of a panic last week because usually I have my lessons on a Thursday, but he had a toothache and his car was in the garage, so we actually delayed the lesson until yesterday, which was Sunday. Which I'm glad we did because I think because I had that lesson so close to my actual test, it just relieved a lot of nerves. And then also I still had my hour lesson today before the test. But this morning I was more stressed because where he was going to pick me up from at the train station, it was all closed off because of rail replacement buses. So it took me a while to find him, but we found each other and we did a few routes that I was a little bit unsure on. And yeah, just went through any questions I had, sort of any issues with. Yeah, we just went through anything I was unsure on, and then it got to about 10:10 and we drove to the test centre and we waited in the waiting room. It literally feels like a doctor's waiting room, it's so weird. And then as I said, about 10:15, 2 different examiners came out and the first one said someone else's name and then a man said, oh, we got Kiri. I was like, oh my god, they actually said my name right, because so many people get my name wrong. Yeah, so then he said, okay, let's go outside, show me where your car is. But he said, before you show me the car, we'll do the eyesight test. That's where you stand about, I don't know, like 2 or 3 meters away from a car and just read the registration plate so they know you can see far enough away. So yeah, I did that. That was all fine. We get in the car and then they actually do driving tests on iPads now. So he said he got the iPad out ready to go on the test and he said, look, I want you to feel as relaxed as possible. Just do your best. So he was really I felt really at ease with him because he was just a really relaxed person. I know it can really be like a draw of who you get. I was very happy I got him. He was Jeff at the Guildford test centre, if that helps anyone. Yeah, so the first half of the test I followed a sat nav, which was fine. I've done that in my lessons before. Went on the A3, then came off, and we actually went down a test route my instructor has never seen. So I did have my driving instructor in the back of the car with me. I just thought if I did fail, at least he would be able to see what I failed on and help me next time. But to be honest, once I was driving, I kind of forgot he was there because he was actually sat behind me rather than like there. So yeah, the only questions I got asked were, how would you like test the tyre pressure, or like know what your tyre pressure should be, and then I also got asked how, like, can you show me how to put the windows down and put them up again? So easy. Yeah, so I said I didn't need to stress about under the bonnet stuff, but you should know that if you're doing a test. You can only get minors if you get those wrong anyway. Yeah, we drove down, so I'm just going to talk. I did my test in Guildford, I think I said that before. So if you go down the A3, a lot of the time they'll ask you to come off like the Ripley Woking turn off. So I came off there, and then normally there's another roundabout. You normally turn right to go back down a little village to go onto the A3 again, just so you can do slip roads. But instead of going right at that roundabout, he said, oh, can you go left? I was like, okay. And we went through a little village called Send, and then we went right, which again, I've never done this route before. I only know that route a little bit because my dad lives that way, and so does my boyfriend. So yeah, but I said I've never turned right once I've been in Send before. So yeah, then we went down a little road, and a lot of the time in driving the test they'll ask you to pull up on the left or on the right, and then you've got to like check all around you again. I think they mainly do that for observations. It doesn't really, like I said, it's kind of pointless just pulling up on the left for no reason, but I guess they want you to do it safely. But the first time I pulled up on the left, I like properly scraped the car, and it made a horrible noise. I was like, oh my god, like I thought, is this a fail, is it not? Because I know when you can't really like mount the curb. I think if you hit the curb and there's no one around, it's not really an issue. Obviously it's not great, but it's not a fail. So I was like, I'm hoping I didn't mount the curb. Anyway, so and then we come out of that road, and then we do go back on the A3 to come off at Merrow. And then once I was in Merrow, I was asked to do an emergency stop. That was all fine. Only advice on emergency stop is make sure you check all around you again once you do that. And yeah, and then drove back to the test centre. So after I did the emergency stop, the sat nav was off and he just directed me. So I basically drove back to the test centre after that. And then my manoeuvre was I had to drive into a parking space rather than reverse bay park it, just like forward parking and then reverse out. And then we drove into another bay after I'd done that reverse. And he said, how do you think that went? I said, I think it went okay. I said, I'm not sure about obviously the car scraping. And he goes, oh, you'll be pleased to, he said, I'm sure you know that you passed your test. I was like, what? I said, because I scraped the car so much, I was like, no way. And also when I was waiting for another car to finish their manoeuvre, I sort of scraped my car again along sort of the green bank at Guildford Test Centre. Yeah, so I know it wasn't overly dangerous, but I do need to be more aware of that when I drive in real life. So yeah, that was my test, and then I just had to sign a few things, and then I got given my certificate. I should have brought it upstairs with me, but you can see it on Instagram or TikTok if you're interested. But yeah, that was my driving test. As I said, it was not as bad as I thought it would be. I said I was very lucky with my manoeuvres. I got emergency stop, and I got forward parking into a parking space. That was all fine. So yeah, that's it. I'm no longer a learner driver. Also, I need to sort out my insurance now so I can drive on my own. But yeah, that was my driving test experience. I know this video is going to be mega long, so if anyone would like advice on how to pass first time just from what I've learned, please let me know. I can film that video for you. And yeah, thank you very much for following me on my driving journey if you have been following me. But yeah, I thought I'd just share the full story on YouTube. I thought it'd make a bit more sense. But yeah, please like and subscribe if you like this video, and yes, I will see you in my next one, which will probably be what I got for my birthday. So yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.